Thomas Kuster is the author of 7 Habits of a Breathtaking Relationship, the 7 Stages of Love, and his latest book, Relationship Refresh. And he's here with us just now, and we've already had lots of fascinating conversations before we came on air about time zones and pronunciations and stuff. But we're here to start the actual interview now.
Great. Good morning. Yeah, it's good to be with you.
Yeah, it's great to be with you as well. So your latest book, Relationship Refresh, how would you describe that book for people that aren't really familiar with it much?
So Relationship Refresh is designed for couples that have been together for a period of time. It's not generally the best book for new couples, but for people who have been together that want to refresh their relationship. They still love each other. They want to be together. And they know that they can have it be a little more vibrant than it's become. And so Relationship Refresh is designed for those couples, mostly.
Yeah. And how did you get the idea to write a book about this then?
Well, I've been a relationship coach and an emotional health practitioner for a number of years. And in fact, I started my career 25 years ago. And over the 25 years in working with couples and even individuals around relationships, I started to see a pattern. And from the patterns, I started to create, notions, if you will, and presented these notions to couples and over time discerned that there was a structure I could put together. So I don't know if I'm answering your question really as directly as you might want, but I took everything that I did over these 25 years and I organized it in a way that made sense for a progression of how a couple might do these to actually result in a refresh for their relationship, to have love more vibrant, more present, more often. Peace of mind, more present, more often.
Yeah. And that's quite interesting because I guess a lot of the time it's difficult to know what needs fixing in every single different couple's relationship.
That's right. Every couple has their own thing, but a couple is a couple. So as long as love is present. So, when you talk about there's lots of different couples and lots of different issues, it's very, very clear. Like you're right. Absolutely right. And everybody wants to be treated as an individual for sure. In this book, it may seem like there's some generalization, but the truth is the book includes a little bit of work, some things to look at that they get to answer. And based on their answers is how they'll go through the book and use it. What's standard is that if I still love my spouse or my partner and my partner still loves me, then the book is going to work. If love is missing, then you really want to have somebody on the outside supporting you and what it's going to take to get love present again.
Yeah. And how come you actually need this book then if love is present? Because surely if love is present, then you don't need to fix anything.
Exactly, right? That's what you would think.
Yeah.
Well, think of it this way. There's the work that you do and you're good at what you do. And don't you find that when you study a little more about what you do or you look into new technology about what you do, it refreshes your involvement in that work. It's the same for a couple. You might love each other, but you might be bored. You're not going to leave them because you're bored. But if you knew that there were a way that you could refresh that relationship where it felt brand new again, where love felt fresh, that would be a great opportunity, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. And that's such an appropriate title for the book, Relationship Refresh, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the perfect title, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So how long did it take you to write this book?
Well, technically write the book, it took me almost a year. But the reality of writing the book, it took me 25 years.
Wow, yeah.
Because the system is my system.
Yeah.
And the system found its way to me as I worked with people. It got uncovered. It's not like I'm some genius who, just sat down and started writing. No, the couples wrote the book. I mean, the couples that I got to work with, the couples that gave me the opportunity to be with them and go through their processes, it allowed me to see things that really worked and things that didn't. And so the book contains everything that works. I didn't include anything that doesn't.
Yeah. And I take it you've used a lot of your own experience doing what you do in this book, as opposed to doing research, although maybe you did still do some, I don't know.
Yeah. So there's the whole combination, right? There's the research that I've done, the trainings that I've had. There's the couples that I've worked with that I got to feel my way through. And I married myself. Yeah. And I include in the book, in every chapter, a story of how I exercised that particular topic in my own relationship, where I failed and where I won, so that the people who choose to read my book and who, choose to do the work, they realize that as the author, I'm a real person in a real relationship. My relationship is like anybody's relationship, and having it refreshed meant a great deal to us.
Yeah. So why is it important to refresh your relationship? Because I think a lot of people wouldn't bother, to be frank.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. So hopefully the people who find their way to the book are the people who want to bother. But I would compare it to anything. I relate to a relationship as an avocation, and an avocation is an expensive hobby. And if you relate to your relationship as an avocation, you're going to give it everything you got. And if you're interested in life being its fullest, then you want to have that thing that dominates most of your life to be fulfilled. So I would think that most people in a loving relationship want to pay extra attention to it, to have it be as vibrant and awesome as it can be for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. And is it easy to know that you need help with your relationship? Because sometimes maybe it could just be one person feels that way and the other person doesn't. And I take it, would you have to go into it together to fix it? It wouldn't just be on one person, if that makes sense.
Well, that's a really great question. And actually, it's a really great question because one person really can make the difference. Yeah. So if one person sees the relationship could use some refreshing, then the relationship can use some refreshing, period. If the other person doesn't see it, it might be that they find other ways to take care of themselves and they don't think much about it. Yeah. But if there's one, it includes the two. However, one person really can do the work. No kidding. One person can really do the work and actually impact the couple in a way they may never even realize.
Wow. So what are some of the quick ways that we can refresh our relationships, or do we have to read the book?
Okay, well, if you don't want to read the book, I can give you a couple of secrets that I think are pretty phenomenal. Yeah. So the one theme that I carry throughout the book is that there are different stages in our relationships, and most of us will or can get stuck in any of those stages. And how you will move from one stage to the next stage is by getting to your authentic answer to the question, why? Why do I even want a relationship? And why am I in this one? Now, for some people, they think it has to be a very noble answer, like they're in the relationship because, well, I love him or I love her. You're with somebody 20 years, 25 years. Love is way different than what love was in the first 3 years or 4 years. So that particular answer is okay, but I work with people to get to what I call the nitty gritty why. Yeah. Like there's a real why you're sticking this out. There's a real why you are doing what you need to do so that you wake up tomorrow morning together as you did yesterday. And when you understand why you're doing something, it gives you an incredible motivation to have it work.
Yeah, that's so important. And I guess that applies to a lot of things where you feel like giving up, but you ask yourself why you're doing it, and that gives you the reason to keep going.
Yes, exactly. It is in everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. And to help people get to the nitty gritty why is really fun because most of us won't get there by ourselves. And so in the book, I really take them through a process so they can get there on their own if they choose. But once you get that nitty gritty why and you don't feel guilty about it, like what's a nitty gritty why? Well, for some people, it's as simple as, well, you know what? The sex is so damn good, and I just don't know if I'll ever be able to get that recreated. And it's worth it to me to stick it out for that. For other people, it's financial. They say, together we've achieved so much. And on our own, I don't see that that's possible. Those are nitty gritty. Those aren't the kind that you're going to call up your best friend and talk about necessarily. These are the ones that people hold close to their chest. Sometimes they hide them. I'm staying in the relationship because I want my children to have a full and whole family. That's a nitty gritty why, and not one that everybody likes to admit to. They'd much rather say love is the reason why they're sticking it out.
Yeah, and I guess that can be a bit of denial there then.
Could be. Yeah. Could be. Or avoidance. Maybe it's more like avoidance, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, probably. So how did you get into this type of work originally then?
So years ago, I was in a relationship, long-term relationship, and my partner got cancer at a very young age, 29 years old, and died. And it was in that moment that it occurred to me that I had not been the partner that I had wished I had been, that I wasn't as loving as I could have been, that I didn't bring closeness where I could have brought closeness, that I didn't enrich our lives. And believe it or not, I was sleeping and I woke up in the morning, and after a dream, I imagined a partner for life.
Wow.
And when I thought of a partner for life in the original context, it was a partner for a lifetime. But what I got was, a partner for life isn't necessarily a partner for a lifetime because we fulfilled on that. Yeah. But a partner for life is a partner who is for your life, who is for your quality of life, who is for your aliveness. And that was the foundation for everything I started to build from that point on, that I have no interest in supporting you and your partner being together for a lifetime, though I'm happy if you do. What I'm interested in is that you develop a partner for life, that you have a better quality of life because they're in it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's an interesting take on a very common phrase, and you just have to look at it another way.
Yeah.
So after this book, have you got any more ones planned?
Well, the 7 Habits of a Breathtaking Relationship is an ebook. So it's a very small book. And I'm working on the second edition to make it a full-blown book. And I intend to have that done middle of next year.
Yeah.
Right now, this is my thrust. This is what I'm out there promoting and living, and very excited to have accomplished.
Yeah, definitely. And when you're not doing all this work and writing books, do you have any fun things that you like to spend your time doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm a major traveler. I love to travel. Physical fitness is a big deal for me. Yeah. My partner and I, we hike a great deal, and we still throw reasonable size parties. We have a huge outside area, so we have reasonable parties. So I spend a lot of time doing that, and I'm a chess buff. Ooh. So I have a chess game going all the time. I have one right next to me, so I play myself. And then I have 2 going online, one with my brother and one with my best friend.
Wow, that's crazy, yeah. Well, next time you're on the show, we'll play a game of chess. That'll be fun.
Ah, right on. That sounds great.
Yeah. So, before all your other books come out, where can we find Relationship Refresh?
So, it is at Barnes & Noble. It's on barnesandnoble.com. It's on amazon.com. Yeah. And if people would just go to my website, thestagesoflove.com, there's a direct link to all my books and all my work, and I would love for people to visit.
Great. Well, thanks very much for joining us here today. It's been great having you on the line.
Thanks. It was great being with you, really.